hit it yet, but hell, I done hit it. It says live. Let me see if it's live on the other end. Okay, Shawn. Another thing, how okay, we on here. Now how do
Yeah,
never mind.
we live. We live,
Oh,
Kofi.
yeah, we live.
If you're on your laptop on the right hand side, you can see the live chat. If you take it out private chat and do live chat inside the stream yard.
Okay, hold on. All right.
You already got the link to share the show, so don't be asking me about sharing the show.
Yeah, okay, but the live chat, is it on?
Yes, Kofi. It's gonna show you people comment in the chat. It's gonna show you the live chat
Okay.
on the right
Oh,
hand side of the screen.
all right. Damn.
See? Now look on the stream yard.
Oh, it says live. Okay. Yeah.
Live comments.
Okay.
See? Now, can we move on?
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on.
Share
I'm
the
finna,
show, everybody.
yeah, I'm finna share the show on my. I can put it on my damn my timeline. And if it ain't on nobody else, come join. Y'all give us just a second. All right. Let me do this here. Go back here. Damn. All right. All right. Hold on. Let me do this. Yeah. All right. Shawn already on it. Groups. Boom, 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 boom. Uh, all right. Damn, I didn't mean to put it in there. All right, shit, I ain't doing no more. What's happening? What's happening? Let me go back to here. And we're gonna go and get started. Yeah. Shoot. Kofi Piesie TV. All right. Oh, no, 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 no. We ain't on Kofi Piesie TV. On my side. All right.
Yes, we are on Mossy.
All right.
Dang.
My bad. Uh, First I want to say ETM Hotel. Dua Aku, Dua Necha. Fatmu Lafayette, Fatmu Riri. Um, Majuba Iba E a Gungun, Majuba Iba E a Gungun, Majuba Iba E a Lakba, Majuba Iba E a Lakba. Egungun, Kiki, Egungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to say peace and Black African power. Um, Hotep, Alafia, etc. I got brother Shawn, brother T'Challa, brother brother Sutek, brother Vasa on the panel. Before I get started, any of you brothers got anything? A piece of those is coming in the chat. Um, Piece of those that may be coming in a little bit later. Piece of those that may be watching this in the archives at a later date. But any of y'all got anything, man, before we jump into it?
Peace, everybody. I kind of get a staticky sound on my side, so I'm gonna stay mute and just try to listen majority of this one and kind of monitor the chat.
Yeah,
But
you kind
peace,
of clear.
everybody.
Yeah, you kind of clear right now.
Okay, but peace, everybody.
Hey, peace to the fam. Peace to the chat. Like and share the show as you come in. Get ready to get into this presentation about these trees. I'm very interested about it, so I'm ready to go.
ETM Hotel, Rennie Shawn. Welcome to my name is Shawn. Appreciate everybody tuning into the show. Like the show, share the show, tell a friend, add. Whatever Kofi don't do, I can back him up on the trees, but not this specific tree. Yeah, I actually got this in that presentation that I did. But yeah, I'm just ready to get it in, man. Let's go. I want to say hotel for T'Challa because he eating. He got a mouthful of food.
Hey, yeah, girl always cooking up good breakfast. Seem like when we go live, so I gotta, take that down real quick. But peace to everybody, brothers on the panel, and everybody that comes through and watch our videos, because that's why we do what we do. We hope that somebody gets some education around here. So let's sit back and see what Brother Kofi got in store for us.
All right. Again, hotel to those in the chat. Peace, brother LB. Peace to Green Spirit Studios. Peace to Baghdad, my op. Peace to those that's looking that's not in the chat. Again, a piece of those that may be coming in a little bit later on. Peace to those again that may be checking this out in the archives. Yeah, I think everybody gonna appreciate this presentation. I know I appreciated putting it together. We've been talking about it for the past 3 weeks. We've been just discussing it a little bit, but I wanted to put together a presentation to go a little bit further in depth on this presentation. I mean, on the Baobab tree. So, like I said, I think everybody appreciate this presentation and this information. And yeah, peace to Water, Alafia, peace to OG Gorilla, Conman, Silverback, peace, Hotel. I'm gonna share my screen before we get into the presentation. Uh, don't show the tips again. Um, Before we get into the presentation, I'm gonna show us lit video. It's about maybe 2 or 3 minutes long on the Baobab tree, and then just to give y'all just a a little where I'm gonna be coming from when I'm talking about the Baobab. Give me a sec. Let me see. All right, William. Um, Application to Windows. Okay, not that. Let's go to my StreamYard. Hold on, let me see. It is. No, that ain't what I want. Shawn, okay, Shawn, how do I get to um display? Y'all bear with me just a second. Bear with me just a second. I see my presentation. I got my PowerPoint thing open, but how do I go to like my windows? My windows. I want to um play something from my windows because I know this ain't going. This let me see. Oh, it is. So y'all see Baobab tree. Hello. Can you anybody on the panel or
Give it some time. It looked like it's loading up, Kofi. I don't know if
okay?
anybody else
Y'all
is speaking.
Yeah,
with y'all can see
yeah,
this.
we see it now.
Okay. It's showing on y'all end in the chat. Let me know. Give me a 1, 2, yes, a thumbs up. Let me know if it's sharing. But I want to play this small
I
little
see it
video
on the
like I
you.
said. Okay.
I see it
So
on the
we gonna
YouTube now.
get in this lit video again. They speaking and I don't know if they speak. I think it's French that they speaking, but the number but the translating in English at the bottom. Like it's only it's a 2 minute video. In the video, I get it. Hold on. Wow. I might not be able to play it, y'all. Let's see. It's ain't never did this where it started loading up. Sorry about that. Y'all give me just a second. I'm gonna stop sharing. We just gonna go straight into the presentation. One but 2 minutes. I just was trying to where I was gonna talking about the Baobab, and we gonna get into what. Nah, we not even gonna prove with it. So hold on 1 second. Let me go back here. Reshare my screen. Share my screen. Share my screen. We just gonna go straight into the presentation. Y'all let me know my presentation is up. All right, I see it on there. Y'all see it on the other end?
Yeah, man, we good. Rock out.
All right. Okay. I wanted to show a quick little 2 minute video, but it's not. It's keep loading and buffering, so we're not gonna get into it. But today's presentation is called the Sacred Baobab Tree, the Tree of Life. This tree is called the tree. It's the Baobab tree, and it's a sacred tree in Africa. And as I did my research, a lot of people describe this tree as the tree of life or the trees of life. And we're gonna get into why they call it the tree of life. It literally, y'all, is a tree of life. Okay, I always had to put a disclaimer out here before I get started. I am not a teacher, but merely a student sharing information, and that information provided for the educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research and have it verified by someone qualified. I reserve the right to change the focus of this presentation to shut down, sell, or exchange the terms of use in my own discretion. Somebody got their windshield wiper going. Can somebody mute their mic, please?
That's T'Challa, man. Hit mute mic on all. Kofi at the
All
bottom.
right, all right. Please shut down or sell or change the term or use in my own discretion. All trademark, design rights, copyrights, registered names, mottos, logos, avatars, or sigmas, marks, are cited by this website or the property of their respective owners. I reserve the right to add information as it comes available, or adapt, change, and improve information as it comes available in the future. Inputs, wanted changes, additions, are encouraged. So I always had to put a disclaimer out there before I get started. And I forgot to put my new saying. Every year I try to come up with a new saying. I'll put the other one on there next presentation. But I've been doing this since. Well, this is my saying. I've been doing since I actually started my YouTube channel. As I learn, we all learn. I stand by this. I'm not gonna go wide. I think this is important. I used to talk about it all the time, explain this saying. But as I learn, we all learn. Last year I came up with "Let's get this culture." We understand that we have been under our culture has been under attack. Mistruths have been told about our culture. Our culture has been hidden from us. So we, as the Master Warrior Clan and Kofi Piesie affiliate research team, is trying to bring um, our culture back, give people a proper understanding and context of our culture. But let's get this culture. All right. The Baobab tree, the Adasona digital, is a member of the Bacacus family. This decisive tree was originally located in South Africa, Botswana, Liberia, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, but it can be found in most countries within the African continent. The tree is also commonly in America, India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, China, Jamaica, and Holland. Okay, like I said, we've been talking about this tree for a few weeks. We mentioned the tree. I did a presentation on Kofi Piesie called the Badek people. These people that actually lived in caves, these African tribes that lived in caves, they are from Senegal or migrated to Senegal. They've been there for many, many years. They're not a part of the Syria uh, people, which is broke up into different ethnic groups of different clans. So I touched on the tree on that presentation, and it was in Senegal. Then I came back, and me and Brother Ben did a presentation on Fataru. the Syro people a indigenous tradition that is called Fataru. So we talked about the Fataru and we mentioned this um the Baobab tree, and then we came back on Kofi Piesie TV, me and T'Challa Bangara, and he did a presentation, um, music from a Malinke perspective, and he touched on the Baobab tree. And I asked a question because from the little bit of research that I had did with the Fataru presentation and the Badak presentation that mentioned it, I didn't go in detail on the tree. So I asked Brother T'Challa when he talked about it the other week, um, was it exclusive to Senegal? Because just through my research dealing with the Syro people and those four different clans inside the Syro people, talked about the Baobab tree, and then the Badak people that's in Senegal that's not a part of Syro people. It is mentioned in their culture as being sacred as well. So I didn't know if it was exclusive to Senegal or not. So now I got it. It's not exclusive to Senegal. It's also in South Africa. It's in Namibia, Botswana, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and other countries in Africa. And it's not only exclusive in Africa, but you can find the tree or the species of the tree in America, India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, China, Jamaica, and Holland. The origin, we're gonna get into it. The origin, I'll say it now, but I'm gonna talk about it in the slide. The origin of these trees, or the species of these trees, come from Africa. So the origin of the baobab tree is in Africa. Through my research, I have found out that it's not only exclusive to Africa, but they still trying to find out, and it's only theories of how this tree or the species of these trees develop in other countries such as America, India, Jamaica, Holland, China, and Malaysia, and so forth. People don't have a concise, it's not a consensus of how this tree ended up in these other countries, but they do know and establish that this tree is its origin is in Africa. All right, the baobab tree can grow enormous sizes. The carbon dating indicated that they may live to be 3,000 years old. They go back many names, including baobab, tabada, bottle trees, upside down tree, monkey bread tree, and the dead rat tree from the appearance of the fruit. It also goes by another name. But brother T'Challa was telling me what the people call, what the Malinke people call this tree. Brother T'Challa, he must have been stepped away. Right.
They call
But
it,
he's,
my bad. They call it the Moribayasa tree.
yeah, the More Asa tree. So this tree goes by various of names, but most people know it as the baobab tree. All right, there are 9 species of the baobab tree. The genus Adasa. So we're gonna get into, before we get deep into this tree. And again, this tree, with no matter the research you do, you're gonna always hear people refer to the baobab tree as the tree of life. There's the tree of life. So keep that in mind. Why is everybody calling, even outside of Africa, when we talk about India, we talk about Malaysia, we talk about in the Americas, and etc. They still are referring to this tree as the tree of life. Why is they keep describing this tree as the tree of life? But before we get into that, let's get into the 9 species, because there are 9 different species of the baobab tree. There's just not only one species. So we'll get into the first one is the Zarasa baobab. It's also known as the Adasa zarisis, or the zarisis. Baobab is native to northern islands of Madagascar. It was named after the Dagosaurus, who was a Portuguese navigator. We talked about this Portuguese individuals on numerous of times between me and Shawn, especially when we talk about the Portuguese um, jumping off the Atlantic slave trade. Uh, these trees shed its leaves annual and pollination to fit white flowers. It's fascinated by bats. The flowers often bloom at night. Human beings use the Sarasa baobab for shelter, ceremonies, medicine, food, fiber, juices, trunks, home, for reptiles, bats, insects. Sarasa baobab's biggest threat to the survivors are lightning, waterlogging, black fungus, as well as droughts. In fact, the tree is listed as endangered to the IUCN. The funny baobab, known as the scientific Didasa funny baobab, it is found in northern, eastern, and southern eastern parts of Madagascar. It is the smallest species of the baobab, and the country grows about 4 to 5 meters tall. The funny trunks are bottle shaped with the construction below the upper parts of the branches. Its odd looks causes some people to say that the tree resembles a potato in giant teapots. The color of the flowers varies bright oranges, hues, and yellow. The funny baobab holds water within its trunk, thus it appears older than it actually is. The inner bark is used to make very strong ropes and cordage. The funny baobab is protected in the number of reserves and facing exploitation by locals who use it for shelter, construction, rope making. Habitats of funny baobab, thorn thickets, spiral forests, and outer scrublands. The third species is the Madagascar baobab. The baobab, Madagascar baobab, the Adasa Madagascan some grows in about 80-foot tall. And y'all pay attention to a bunch of these species of these trees that I'm showing. These trees are huge. I'm talking about these trees are huge. The habits of these trees is moist or dry, deciduous forest. Madagascar's baobab has a smooth back and wide trunk, which makes it favorite for most artists' photographs. Its flowers are dark red in color. The soft leaves of Madagascar baobabs can be eaten as vegetables. Its fruit is also edible, and the seeds used to make vegetable oil. The powder prepares very dry fruits in thickness, agencies, and gravities. The flavors addictive to hot sauces and sweet ages from trunks. The fourth species of the baobab tree is the Za baobab, Adasa zao. Resembles in Africa baobab. It is commonly baobab species in Madagascar. The name Za comes from the uh, Malagasyan word meaning tree. The tree has a thick trunk. In addition, its main branches is large and found on top of trees. Maximum heights of the Zao baobab is unknown, but the girth is about 75 feet. The tree has a black fruit and seeds that contains 11% oil. Its flowers are yellow and reddish. Besides, the Zao baobab produce the more sweetness scent. It grows decisive forest thickens humid riparian zone, sub-arid and semi-arid degrees sublands. Presently, major threat Baobab is habitat lost. And I'm trying to get through these different species of the baobab tree so we can get more into the good stuff. But I want to establish that the baobab tree has 7 other different species. The Pura baobab, Adasi periri, is found in northern parts of Australia in Madagascar. It is leads of source of food in most people, while the dried fruit pulps is few ingredients. The tree contains various nutrients such as protein, calcium, magnesium, riboflavin, Phosphorus, if I'm pronouncing that right, amongst others. The Perion Barbaro dry fruit is also important for making juices and ice cream. Many birds pitch their nets on the trees. The Perion Barbaro is listed by the IUCN as endangered. Its habitat has been lost to agricultural development. As results, it is the rarest baobab species in Madagascar. The giant baobab, also refers to as the Grandiderian baobab or the Adasa grandidera. The giant baobab was named after a French botanist called Alfred Grandidera. It is almost the most famous baobab species in Madagascar. The tree is characterized by a huge cylindrical trunk. The tree is characterized by huge cylindrical trunk which are covered with smooth reddish gray barks. The giant baobab can grow also tall as 30 meters high. The leaves are bluish green in colors, while the petals are white with dark brown floral buds. The dry fruits are large and have kidney-shaped seeds. The giant baobab bears ripe fruits in November and December. In October through May, the leaves blossom the months of May and August in the season for the flowering. The giant baobab, the tree is classified as an endangered species. The 7 is the Montanian African baobab. I couldn't find a picture for it, but the Montanian Afro baobab is found in the upland areas of South and Eastern Africa. It is very easily recognizable as a how and swallow base on the trunk as well as the bottom-like appearance. The scientific name of the tree is the Adasa killimar. The predominant features of the montane African baobab includes one, a trunk that can store water, two, a thick bark that is able to protect it from fire during dry season, three, tap roots that are long enough to reach water or even moisture, and four, a few leaves to reduce water loss. The montane African baobab is able to endure harsh climate conditions like droughts. It sheds leaves during the dry season. The industrial baobab is the Australian baobab. Australian baobab is a scientific known as the Dasa gregoria. The local calls the tree baobab is a huge baobab with swollen trunks, which is bottle-like. The fruit resembles the gourds. The tree grows are Kimberleys in the western parts of Australia and east northern territory of the country. The Australian baobab loses its leaves during the dry season. During the wet season, the trees produce new leaves and flowers of large white petals, large hollow. Baobab trees grew south of the Derby in Western Australia. The trees was used to lock up prisoners before sentencing. We'll get back into that a little bit later. The Australian baobab trees also used by Australians as a source of water since the hollow trunk stores water. The last species is the African baobab, found in sub-Saharan Africa. The African baobab is a biological known as the Adasa digitate. It grows in dry, hot savannas. The species of the baobab is the most widely spread in Africa continent. The tree grows up to 12 meters wide, 25 meters tall. It has yellowish white flowers and possesses a beautiful carrot scent. The fruit of the African baobab is a superfruit, contains many nutrients. The tree also popular for its medical values and being a source of shelter. It also provides food, water for both humans and animals. All right, those were the 9 species. I wanted to get those 9 species out the way before we get started. So the baobab consists of 9 species. The origin of the baobab tree is in Africa. Most of them is in Madagascar, which is in Africa. Then you have species in sub-Saharan Africa. So you can see it all throughout in places in West Africa. It's in Australia, Malaysia, India, America. But again, they don't know how this tree ended up in these other different places. But the origin is in Africa. The baobab has adapted to the savanna dry in a red condition, earning its African recognition as a symbol of life. It utilized every aspect of the autonomy to stay alive. The tree essentially is a large, giant, secluded, storing up to 120,000 liters of water in its huge trunk. Generally speaking, the trunk around 80% water and vary in sizes according to how much water it's holding. The baobab holds only produces a small figure like leaves during the wet season. They help the tree conserve as much water as possible. Also, the roots are long enough to reach water or even joint moisture deep underground. So this tree holds up to 120,000 liters of water. Another adaptation has to do with the tree stems. They storm funnels that allows them to catch every available bit of water from the morning dew to the summer downpour, channeling everything into holding canals. This means that the baobab has time to soak in the water over the course of the days. Sponge bark helps the baobab limit water loss. The tree bark is more porous than the sort you find on regular wood, meaning it can absorb moisture like a sponge. Consequently, the baobab can absorb water when it remains and stores during times of drought. The tree also shiny and slick outer bark. Through its adaptation, the baobab can reflect light and heat, keep it cool under the savanna, unforgiving in sun. Some scientists have argued that the reflection nature of the bark may help protect the tree from the impact of wildfire, which are fairly common during the season. So it's saying that the bark also can protect it, you know, from the sun and protect it from wildfire. Baobab tree bark fire resistant. So let's talk about it. Baobab tree bark is fire resistant. The native people living near baobab trees quickly discovered that the strained cork-like bark of the tree is soft and fibrous. The fibers can be woven into cloth and fashioned into strong rope. So they also use the bark as a woven into clothing, fashioning into strong rope. So they use it for clothing and they use it to make their rope. It is added bonus that the tree bark is fire resistant, and so that the clothing made from it also provides some protection from the fire. Its own ecosystem. A mature baobab tree can sustain its own ecosystem, with a variety of creation relies on it. Birds nest in it in its branches, while trees crease trunks allow hollow interior provides homes for snakes and a number of insects. Monkeys and baboons eat its fruit. Elephants consume the tree bark, though mainly during the dry season when they need some of the moisture of the tree, because again the tree absorbs the moisture, absorb the falling rain, and the roots from the tree can extend out as far as the rivers and the ocean where it is absorbing water. And again, it says it can hold up to 120,000 liters of water. The elephant topping the baobab tree in search of water. Believe it or not, but the elephant is one of the biggest threats to the baobab tree. That is because the large trunk of the baobab tree is used to store water. In adaptation to its dry climate, in fact, in singular trees can store up to 32 gallons of water. In times of drought, humans can tap into the baobab tree to extract the water. Elephants known to this to during the dry season. Herds of the elephants often topple the trees looking for water. Elephants are the only threat to the baobab tree. Many trees die each year due to the lightning striking and the black fungus. So again, the baobab tree is considered the tree of life. And we're just only talking about one aspect now. It is not only the survival for humans, but it's also survival for things in nature. And one of it is the water. Again, it's absorbing or sponging up the moisture, the rain, and the roots is can extend as far out into the rivers, the lakes, and the ocean. So natives near this tree can extract the water as needed from this tree. As you can see, during the drought season, the elephants tumble and search for these specific baobab trees in order to get water for them. But we're gonna get in more things in it so y'all can get a gist of why everywhere that you look and they talk about this specific tree, the baobab tree, that they always describing this tree as the tree of life. And it is literally the tree of life. Bats pollinate the baobab tree. Bats pollination are responsible for the pollination of the baobab tree. The bats swarm the trees at night when the blossoming are bloom during the southern hemisphere summer months of October, November, and December. The flowers of the baobab trees are large and white. The opening They open in the late afternoons and remain open all night, awaiting the bats. At first, the blossoms are sweat smelling, but as they age, they produce a small rotten. They produce the smell of rotten meat. During the early summers of October through December in southern hemisphere, the trees bear very heavy white flowers. They are 12 centimeters, 4.7 inches across, opening during the late afternoons and stay open for one night. The predominant showy flowers have a very large number of stamens. They have a sweet scent, but later emits a curious smell, especially when they turn brown and fall after the 24 hours. So the tree not only blossom fruit, but it also blossom flowers. Leaves simply is digitate with up to 9 green and glossum leaf lights, but usually 5. All baobab trees are decisive, losing their leaves in the dry season and remains leafless from 9 months of the year. The leaves are excellent source of protein, minerals, vitamin A, vitamin C, and is used as a condiment of medicine. Hold on, let me plug up my laptop. I want my laptop to go dead. So the leaves are also instrumental as well. It says that the leaves is an excellent source of protein, mineral, vitamin A, vitamin C, and it is used as a condiment of medicine. We're gonna get more in depth through the presentation, talking about everything that this tree provides, whether it's the flowers, the leaves, the fruits, the nuts, the seeds, the water, etc. The tree fruits are large pods known as the monkey bread or the cream of the tartar fruit, in which a vitamin C, and the fruit has a velvet shell and about the size of a coconut, weighing about 1.5 kilometers, 3.3 pounds. It has somewhat acidic flavors described as somewhere between grapefruit, pears, and vanilla. Jail, pubs, post office have all been carved out of the baobab tree trunks. I hope y'all been paying attention as I've been giving you how big the tree, how wide the trees. These trees are huge, and even uh, the beginning of the PowerPoint, the cover of my PowerPoint shows a young man walking in between these baobab trees, and he looked like a ant to these trees. Okay, the trunks of the baobab trees is also large compared to other types of trees and typically achieve diameters for between 25 to 36 feet. The large known baobab tree trunk was 45 feet in circumference, and as the tree ages, the trunk hollows out, creating a space for animals and humans alike. Baobab trunks have been hollowed out to make jails, cells, bush pubs, and even post office. Sadly, cookie manufacturers have not yet set up factories for the baobab tree. But the baobab tree is not only used to extract water, the leaves is not only used, which we'll get more into, because I'm gonna break down a lot of this stuff used for medicine, but the leaves are used for other things. The fruit is used for other things for our survival, as well as the flowers and etc. But they are also used for shelter. Humans have, and they are also a burial ground. This tree is sacred. It is sacred in African tradition. So it is also used where certain cast, a group of people, or a group of people, a certain group of people is buried in this sacred tree. We'll get into that a little bit later in the presentation. But again, they are used for jails. Um, they are used for shelter. They're used for different pubs, post office, and restrooms, because some of the sites that you go and see, some of these places where these trees at, um they are used, you know what I'm saying, for bathroom purposes. They're used for post offices. They're used, again, for as jail cells, shelters, and etc. The Glencoe Baobab is a specimen of the digitate in South Africa. Was considered to be the largest living individual with the maximum circumference of 45 meters, 154 feet, and a diameter of about 15.9 meters, 52 feet. The height is 17 meters, 56 feet, and spread of crowns is 37.05 meters, 121.6 feet. In November 2009, the tree split into two parts. So the widest individual trunk may now be that of the Sunland baobab. Also in South Africa, the diameters of the tree is around the level of 9.3 meters, 31 feet, and the circumference is the breast height of 34 meters, 112 feet. In 1993, artifacts of a bushman and the first white settlers were found in the hollow of the baobab when the farm owners cleaned out the trees. The tree became the popular tourist attraction. 1993, when the owners of the Sunland Farms established a bar and a wine cellar into the hollow tree. It became a main attraction. Look again, I keep describing the length, the height, the width of these trees. These trees are huge. And here you can see here they surrounding the tree. Look how big this tree is. And like these trees again has become a part of the main attraction. Here is another picture of how big these trees get. These trees is huge. Here is the bar that they was talking about that they turned. This is inside the tree. This is inside the tree. They have set up a whole bar. And again, these things were not only used for main attractions, for bars, they were used for shelters, for human beings, they were used for shelters, for animals. They was used to extract the water because they hold up to 120,000 liters of water. They sponge marshes the rain, and etc. The leaves are used. We're gonna get more into the leaves, the flowers, more into the bark. We know the bark is fire resistant. They use the bark of these trees to create clothing, as well as creating ropes. Here is Brother Ben right here. It is said that the griots are buried in this sacred Baobab tree. You can see the skulls right here. I showed this image on the Badek people presentation, as well as the Fataru presentation of the Sira people that me and Brother Ben did. And we talked about the tree a little bit. So the tree is also a burial ground, but it's a burial ground to a particular group of people. And again, like I said, it is said that the griots are buried in this sacred Baobab tree. So let's see what the griots from the synagogue say about the burial. And people ought to know what a griot is. I did a whole presentation on the griot, the Mossy Warrior clan. We have talked about the griot on numerous occasions on Kofi Piesie TV. The Kofi Piesie TV family and affiliate research team has talked about the griots um, um, on numerous occasions. We know the griots, and I talked about it the other week. I did a presentation on oral tradition is just as important as writing. Um, and that might be an article coming soon for that as well. But I talked about the griots. We know the griots are historians. The griots hold many roles. And I'll reiterate, I'm not going to go full and into the griot because we got a lot of information about the griots on our channel. We got a whole presentation. We got many discussions of surrounding the griots. You know, what are their roles? They have many, many, many roles. I even have a diaspora, not a diaspora, but a continental African even bagging me up on the research that I have did on the griot, saying that he's um on the right path. When I did my research dealing with the griots, we had the actually individual on the phone doing the live streaming after the presentation. But the griots hold many roles. The griots are historians. The griots are musicians. So anytime you see a picture of a griot, we talked about this numerous occasions, you'll see them with an instrument. The most famous instrument you'll see the griot with is the um um uh That's the balafon is one, the igomi, the kora. The kora instrument is the most famous instruments of the griot. So you will see them holding this kora instrument, but they also play the balafon and they play the ingoni instrument as well. And but they're not only historians, musicians, they are storytellers, they are ambassadors, um, um, they are songwriters, they are poets, um, they are a part of the warrior class. I mean, these guys are not only guys but females. You got the griots, you got the griotas. So people that want more information, again, I don't know if it's on Mossy, I don't know if it's on Kofi Piesie, but I did a whole presentation on the griots and the griotas. So I give you their roles. I go in depth on the females and the male. You have to be born into this caste, but We're not gonna go in it, but the griots was buried in this sacred tree. And let's get it from a griot itself. So I took this from a griot itself. The griot, and then his name is at the bottom of this slide. He is actually talking to somebody, and he is describing the griot is being buried in this sacred tree in Africa, this Baobab tree, and why the griots are buried in this specific tree. In the heart of the Badar Reserve, about 60 kilometers from Senegal capital Dakar, it is one of the late Baobabs that houses the griots' remains. The griots are considered masters of knowledge and the keepers of historian records across generations. They include singer, poets, instrumentalists, musicians, and storytellers who maintain the traditional and oral history in part of West Africa. They play a very important role when it comes to our oral history. And I really recommend people to look at my oral history, Africa oral history presentation, as well as oral history is just important as writing, because writing relies on oral history or oral tradition, but oral tradition does not rely on writing. So writing is very important. So when you talk about writing, you have to talk about oral tradition. And these griots was very instrumental in keeping the tradition from one generation to the next. And it wasn't just from mouth to ear. So I really recommend people go look at those presentations so you can get a full understanding of what oral tradition is. And it has three different categories. And within those three different categories, a plethora of ways that they was able to keep their traditions intact. So it wasn't just someone just speaking from mouth to ear to another individual to preserve their what's the name. There was other things that took place in order for them to what's the name. I even talk about how oral tradition, people say oral tradition is not reliable. But I show you that oral tradition is reliable because of the other different categories of oral tradition that people don't even talk about. But anyway, we put the griots in the Bible because they are considered sages. They are one who reorientates the community. When there are problems, the griots are the repositories of knowledge. If the griots are buried underground, it will be as though we have buried our history. We can bury knowledge. We cannot bury knowledge because it enlightens our future, said Abdallah Sini, a griot from the Sierra community. So I extracted this from an interview that this griot was having, and he was explaining to them why this tree, the baobab tree, was so sacred, and why the griots was so important in oral tradition, that the griots was buried in this particular sacred tree. They believe, and they know that the griots was full of knowledge. They was the library of the community. They was the ones that was the repository of knowledge. So they believe that if they buried them in the land, which it goes deeper than them being buried in the land, it has something to deal with them, not tending to the land and etc. So far, but if they believe that, but if the griot was buried underground, then they will be burying their knowledge, their information, their tradition, their history, and etc. So we can't bury knowledge because it enlightens our future, said uh, Abdullah Sini, a griot from the Syria community. Um, and this is the same. I dubbed this same side, but we know that it was used as jails, pubs, bathrooms, bars were made out of it. It was for shelter, it was home, and etc. Now let's get into what the different things, because we keep talking about this tree as the tree of life. We kind of explained it going through times. We know that this tree can hold up to 120,000 liters of water, exhaust water. We know elephants survive off the water from this tree. We know human beings survive off the water from this tree. We know this tree bears fruit. We know this tree bears flower. This tree bears leaves. This tree bark is used for clothing. This tree bark is used for making the ropes. We know this tree, the bark is fire resistant. Therefore, when they create their clothing become fire resistant, wildfire resistant as well. We touched briefly on the leaves. The leaves are used for medicine. The leaves are um, used for what you call it when you're trying to have a bowel movement, but they're used to have a bowel movement. The leaves are used for so many different things. We're gonna get into a lot of things about this tree. More things about this tree. The hard shell of the fruit are cracked open as a powdery fruit pulp. It is separated from the seeds and the shells before use. The resulting flowering, creamy white powder melts in the mouth when sampled and has a unique, pleasant flavor and a mildest slight acid after tasting, which can easily be masked with sweetener and other flavors incorporated in the drink product. So the cream from the fruit can be used as some type of sweetener, some type of flavor for drinks, for the drink products. The sweetener can also be used for them to create ice cream. Errors in the last of 1954 first highlighted the presence of the organic acid in the baobab fruit pulp. These include citrus, tartarus, maltose, succinic, and exorbic acids. A later report from Neura 1980 confirmed that the observation of Aaron and Dessa when they showed that the pulp contained exorbic acid, tartaric acid, mainly water sorbate percentage, and the elements of iron and calcium. Nutrition analyzed the baobab fruit pulp has shown that the fruit is an excellent source of percent calcium, vitamin C, and iron. Vitamin C contains in the baobab fruit pulp has been compared with oranges by Mafrid Elsa 2002 and shown to be at least 3 times higher, 150 to 490 milligrams slash 100 grams versus 46 milligrams, 100 grams. The current RDA value is given as 60 milligrams a day, and so 10 grams of fruit pulp given at least 25% recommend daily amounts of absorbent. So it is more high, it is higher um, than orange juice. You know, you can get your vitamin C, you get your calcium, and etc. The baobab fruit pulp contains a high level of percent and contains up to 56% water solvent percentage. Percentage helps to reduce the amount of bad cholesterol and withdraw radiated elements from the body. The baobab tree tradition food use. The pulp of the baobab fruit is reported to have numerous use by the indigenous people of Africa. Bosch 2004 report that the fruit is eaten as a sweet and is used to make ice cream, as I said earlier. In Sudan, a refreshed drink called goude is made from the fruit pulp and cold water to reserve vitamins. Amongst the Hausa farmers, the baobab fruit juice mixture is a popular drink and is available during the hot times of the year. The baobab fruit pulp is reported to use in cooking. To dry pulp can be used in baking as alternate for cream and tartar. Diop 1988 reports that the pulp can richen calcium, and this was the main reason that the baobab was largely consumed by pregnant women and children in Senegal. The study of pregnant women in Gambia by Prentice in 1993 reports that eating the fruit pulp in season December to April without the seeds once a day contributes 30 milligrams a day of calcium to the diet. Baobab tree medicine use of its fruits. All parts of the baobab trees are reported to have medical properties according to traditional folklore's Walt and Brown 1962. A particular interest is used by the baobab fruit and seeds to treat dysentery and reports by Walter Brawinski, 1962. The baobab fruit is reported to have Fabrouche anti-persistence properties in the traditional medicine. Remnants 1994 showed that while the baobab fruit pulp may lower elevated body temperature, normally body temperatures is not effective. Baobab for inflammation. Baobab contains numerous healing properties, and one of its vital functions is the anti-inflammatory properties. Also, study shows the baobab is high levels contains the steroid, saponeus, and triterpenes, which is natural chemicals found in plants responsible for enhancing the immune system and reducing inflammation. The saponeus found in the baobabs react favorably by good bacteria found in the intestines by enhancing the growth and getting rid of toxins and waste from the colon. By eliminating these toxins and improving nutrition absorption, the body's natural immune system and the antibodies can efficiently fight inflammation. In addition, improving immune factors can minimize the risk of progression coronary diseases. So it can enhance or it boosts the immune system and reduce inflammation in the body. It also can clean your colon and get rid of the toxins in your body. Other on the other hand, tripens, which is natural compounds abundance in baobab, has important anti-inflammatory function. Triterpenes is another reason why it is recommended to take the baobab from inflammation. The plant compound is proven to improve allergies, tumors, and inflammation, as well as strengthening digestive systems and the stomach. It is often exhibit bioactive such antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal effects. This substance also promotes normal blood pressure and balance in the blood lipids. So it's saying also that the plant can improve your allergies, tumors, your inflammation, and also can strengthen your digestive systems and your stomach. Um, and it promotes normal blood pressure and balance the bloods in your lipids. Yes, I see on it says yes. It also used as a lactive. We're gonna get into that. When taking baobabs for inflammation, the leaves are dried and the powder and trunk daily and relieve inflammation of the intestines. The seeds contain asa. I ain't even finna pronounce that word, whatever that is, which is also believed to act against inflammation and be powdered to treat gingivitis. And marijuana, the root decoction, can be used to treat the sore throat. In West Africa, the baobab the decoctions is used to wash the eyes with congestions and the lalo for compress. In Senegal, the interest is treated by drinking the fruit pulp with water or decoctions of powder seeds. Throughout Africa, common body inflammations are treated by applying lalo compress or powdered baobab leaves. Fungamating use the leaves, warm paste using boiled leaves, or compress made from crushed seeds. So it is also used for gingivitis as well. Baobab for fever. The bark by the baobab is used. It's not only used now for clothing and rope, it is also used for fever, family. The bark of the baobab is used for the diaphoretic base on local traditional medicine. It is used to placing the stem plates or trunks to treat the high-grade fever. The leaves are also diaphoric, yet it is also used for anti-diaphoric to cure excessive sweating. The botanist Michael Adamson also used baobab leaves to continuously free himself from fever and diarrhea during his stay in Africa by boiling baobab leaves. He drinks half a liter of the baobab tea daily, every morning and every evening until today. The leaves decoction is still commonly used in Africa to treat Malaria. From Senegal to tea is drunk as from febrifuge. The unripe fruit is cooked into a candy water mallet, locally called bagal. It is eaten as a the febrifuge and as a laxative. It is the same way in Mali. Half a liter of the Baobab decoction that contains 30 grams of bark is also used to treat for fevers. In Kenya and Tanzania, the bark decoction is used to steam bathe to treat infants with higher fever. Baobab is also popular in Arabic medicine. Based on the local medicine tradition, the baobab bark leaves decoctions and the fruit pulp mixes with water and trunks to reduce fever and night sweats as well as the curve, so it also decreases the fever or get rid of the fever as well as sweating. You know, it's hot as hell over there. In terms of analyst actives, the produce allergenic effects similar to aspirin. I'm not going to produce that word acid with the longer reaction time. In addition, the same goes for the antiparestic effects, which is comparable to the standard dose of aspirin or hypothermic rats. This effect may be caused by saponins, sterol, or trypene presence in the baobab extraction. Medicines of the baobab leaves. The flesh leaves contain high amounts of vitamin C as well as nutritional elements such as alpha, beta, carotene, ravma, uric acid, tainted potassium, calcium, uh, calcium, tartaric, glutamax acid, mucilax, and other sugars. The theoretic of the baobab leaves have several benefits and are packaged with medicine properties to treat common illness. Baobab act as a expirate for coughing, diuretic, antiparasitic. It is also a nutrients or relieve excess perspiration. Also, it leaves can treat certain forms of allergy with the antihistamines and hyposensitive properties. They can treat asthma, fatigue, inflammation, insect bites, kidney, gallbladder diseases, and draculosis, a form of parasitic worms infected that only occurs in Africa. Powdered baobab leaves, pollinates are also used to treat sores. Dyeing of the leaves is also practiced among the people in Africa. They are typically sun dried, powdered, and cooked daily for family sauce. Applications of property dyeing methods are essential preserve for vitamin A levels. The vitamin A contains the baobab leaves often depends on the different trees types. The dyeing methods and the preceding methods when dyeing leaves, it is recommended to apply shades dyeing to double its vitamin A content rather than direct sun drying. The vitamin A is also boosted by choosing ideal small leaves. In Mali, the leaves are harvested greatly during the end of the rainy season, later October and before the leaves fall out. The leaves are staple ingredients in cooking Africa. It is a local known to kuka and common use to making kuka soup. The leaves are used throughout the continent in Africa as leaf vegetables. The baobab sweet the baobab tree sweets for its the baobab trees sweetener from its fruits. The fruit is mixed with water and drunk as a lemonade. The seeds are roasted and made into coffee. The leaves can be made into spinach, and the children suck the seeds. Baobab jams, which are made from the pulp, and it is an appetizer. It looks like dark honey. It tastes of tart, akin to lemon curd, and a texture gritty like a tangible pear. Um, that's the end of my presentation. These are my references right here. Um, but we can reiterate. We can people got questions. We can kind of reiterate and talk about the species these nine species, what this tree actually is provided. And now y'all kind of got an understanding of why wherever you go, people is referring to the baobab tree as a tree of life. Again, just to reiterate, we know that the tree can absorb 120,000 liters of water. Its roots can extend as far as the oceans, the rivers, uh, and etc. So it is absorbing the roots is absorbing the water from these rivers, these oceans, these lakes, and etc. It water is also being absorbed from the trees, are absorbing the moisture in the air, the dew, and etc. As well as when the rain falls. So we know that the water, I mean, the tree is producing water. So it's not only producing water for the animals, but it is producing water for the natives um, in this particular area surrounding these huge baobab trees. We know that that um, the tree, the leaves is also, it contains the leaves, contains are used for different types of medical purposes, as well as the fruit and the seeds is used for medical purpose, as well as food. You can extract it to for cooking oil, for creams, um, tartar sauce, the seeds ball for coffee, reducing fever. The trees is used; these things are used for reducing fever. There's used as a laxative for those that may be suffering from diarrhea. It contains vitamin A, vitamin C, where you're able to get your nutrients. It's able to stop inflammation in the body. It can help with your allergies. um it can help with gingivitis. It is basically um the tree of life. I mean, all of these things that this tree provides, and this tree can live up to 3,000 years. We know that um the griots, who are very vital to oral tradition, is buried in these trees. We know that the bark is fire resistant. um we know that they're using the bark to create clothing, strong roping. We know it is used for shelter for animals as well as human beings. It is used for jails. It is used for pubs. It is used for bars. It's become a popular sight to see during tourists, and etc. Um, Anybody on the panel got anything, man? Anybody in the chat um, got any questions? And I'm looking in the chat now. I don't see anybody with any questions. Anybody on the panel got anything? That I'm still live or mouth?
Nah, man, we good, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back here and show this big old picture, man. I mean, uh, these trees are huge, man. You see the lit. I don't know if this is a lit sister. Look like a lit sister. You see how huge these trees are, and they walk. She's walking in between the trees. I wanted to. I should have took some more pictures and show just these pictures, and then walking in between the pictures. The animals walking in between the pictures. The animals trampling. The elephants in particular trying to get to the trees for the water. So but I don't see anything, man. Else what bruh, lazy people cause the curse the crops. It was being honored in many ways. Okay. But I guess if anybody don't got anything, let me start sharing quick.
Oh, Kofi,
Share my
that
screen.
what you was just reading. When I was looking into some of the things previous in the past when y'all was talking about the burials around it, I was bringing that back up to saying around some areas, um, it's connected to agricultural purposes as well on who they select to get buried that way. Like for example, if they thought you was lazy and didn't contribute to the people, they wouldn't do that in the fear of maybe you could curse the land and crops and things of that nature. Uh, and I can kind of see the symbolic honor and gestures in that as well. So it kind of made sense to me to kind of have that mind frame, just like not wanting to bury your history. You know, you gotta a visual to keep it going. You know what I mean? And it's stapled. So, but that's why I
Yeah.
threw that in there. I just couldn't jump in while you was building.
Oh man, you could have jumped in at any time, man. Hold on, I'm trying to get back to uh. Let me exit out of here. I'm trying to. I hope I ain't screen share. Let me see. Okay, I need to get a new mouse. But yeah, man. I see ain't nobody got no questions, man. I hope everybody, appreciate the video. Again, hold on, y'all. I pop some up on here, but man, like I said, hoping somebody got something from the presentation. I hope y'all appreciate it. I know I appreciate it because I learned a lot, man, just from what this tree provides, man. So, me researching it, I was, um, you know, glad I researched it and did some further research on this baobab tree and found out there was many other species in this tree, man. So, and just the numerous of things. I mean, we talked about a few things, like I said previous about it, but I didn't know this tree did so much, man. So, again, I hope y'all appreciated the information. I appreciated putting it together. I even appreciate presenting the information to y'all, man. Again, like the show, share the show with those that you think that may appreciate the show. I don't believe in just sharing, and sharing to people that's not gonna look at it. Don't even waste y'all time with it. Share these shows with the people that's gonna appreciate the information that we put out, and take something from it. Take notes, and not only just take notes and appreciate the information, but go do their own research, um, and further the information, or take it a little bit further, or even come back and highlight some things that we may have missed, or talk about some things that we might have could have went in, a little bit in depth um, but again, man, I appreciate y'all, man. I didn't know it was Bible. Brother Zane, peace, Brother Zane. I didn't know it was different Bible trees neither until after I did the research. I was thinking it was one particular tree. I also was thinking that it was. I'm assuming. I'm saying I'm assuming because I asked Brother T'Challa the other week, was the tree exclusive to Senegal? Because just a little research that I did on it pertaining to the Sira people and the Badak people and the tradition of the tradition of the Sira people, the Fataru tradition. It was mentioned during my research and those two particular different presentations, and it was always I seen Senegal, Senegal, Senegal. So I thought it was exclusive to Senegal, but I wasn't saying it was exclusive to Senegal. That's why I asked my brother T'Challa the question. So I found out it's not exclusive to Senegal. I mean, it's all over Africa. Most of these species you can find in Madagascar. A lot of these species you can find in West West Africa. Um, yeah, you can find in West Africa. Um, so like I said, I was glad I did the research, and like I said, I hope people appreciate the presentation. Um, that's all I have, man. We'll get ready to end the screen, man. But be on the lookout. We'll be back today at 5 o'clock on Kofi Piesie TV. Brother T'Challa got a presentation. He's gonna be doing on Kofi Piesie TV. I'm excited about that presentation. Brother T'Challa, what's the name of the presentation again? Let people know what the name of the presentation is.
It's titled Sofa,
Yeah.
and Sofa means warrior in Malinke.
Okay. So be on the lookout for Brother T'Challa's presentation at 5 on Kofi Piesie TV. If you hadn't subscribed, please go and subscribe to Kofi Piesie TV and hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever we go live. You know, um, you'll be notified. Also, if you hadn't subscribed to Kofi Piesie TV, those in the chat, those is not in the chat that's watching, and those that may be looking at this later in the archive, um, before you leave, please, subscribe if you want to subscribe and hit the like bell. If you're just browsing the channel and you see something that the title that may interests you and you just popping on to see what's going on. If you appreciate the information, whether it's coming from me or coming from any of my Moxie Warrior brothers, you know, um, like the, share it, you know, subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you don't like the information, don't subscribe, don't hit the notification bell. Leave a comment. We accept the comments, whether it's good or whether it's bad. We like feedback, you know what I'm saying? We like critique, so we don't have a problem with that. So you ain't got to worry about us coming back and doing 1,000 videos, cussing you out and acting a fool. So we more than welcome to that. Also on Kofi Piesie TV, you got Kofi Piesie TV Family and Affiliates Research Team. So, if something catch your eye over there, a title catch your eye, if you appreciate the information and you just browsing the channel, you like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you don't, that's cool. You don't subscribe, don't hit the notification bell. If you want to leave a comment, whether it's good or bad, if you want to critique the information, we up for that too. We for all that, man. But again, appreciate y'all for tuning in to the show. Uh, y'all could have been doing anything else with y'all time, but y'all tune in to listen to what we got to say, man. And that's big to me. That's big to us. You know what I'm saying? Because um, you took your time out. Because I know y'all time is important, just like my time is important. So I hope those that stay tuning in, popping out, whether you stayed in the whole time or you popped in for 30 minutes and popped out, I hope that the 30 minutes or an hour or however long you stayed on, I hope that your time was well spent. So on that note, I want to say Black African Power. I hope everybody out there staying safe. I hope everybody got what they need um, during this pandemic, man. We'll see y'all again at 5 p.m. Um, 5 p.m. on Kofi Piesie TV. Please support. Please subscribe. Also be looking for a new article, um Africa hair article. It's gonna be entitled something else, but it's African hair something. I had came up with the rest of the title yet. But be on the lookout. It's targeted toward the women. The article is basically for the women. It's for everybody, but it's targeting the women. And once you get into the article, you will understand why I say I'm targeting the women. Um, more so in this article, and but I'm also educating everybody in the aspect of hair in general, and hopefully after the article we can stop using a certain word and um we can love the way our hair grow out of our scalp. But on that note, man, peace and Black African Power, man, and we'll see y'all at 5 p.m. on Kofi Piesie TV, man. We out, man. Peace. I don't know. Okay. All right.